257 describes what has been done to us, causing discomfort and anxiety, contributing to oppositional or addictive or harmful or toxic behavior. We talked about that at length yesterday. I talked about all of the inner child wounds. I talked about how each of them contributes to different behavior, right? And talked about the different ways that a human being can act out that 7 energy or that dark energy, right? In simple terms, an example would be the inner child wound, let's say that is rejection or abandonment. Let's say someone breaks up with you that you're in love with. And you start feeling very uncomfortable. Your mind starts reeling, spiraling, and thinking about all of these things. Why am I not good enough? So on and so forth, which also let's add the wound of inadequacy into that concept, into that mix. And what's something that you might do to try and rectify that behavior, energetically speaking? How many of you have been harmed in some regard? So you say, I don't feel well. I need a drink. I'm anxious. I'm stressed out. I need a drink. That is a perfect example of 257. So we talked about that actually at length yesterday. And I promised my viewers, I said, well, there's another pathway of darkness. And that pathway of darkness is 857. 857 is much more intricate because it involves the realm of spirit and the realm of karma, not just karma of the soul, but karma of the spirit. So there is an entire concept that I need someone to be familiar with, which is the guiding spirit concept or theory, which states, it is my own theory, based on many years of experience of mapping behavior, of mapping people's karmic paths and ongoings in their own life. You can literally map someone's traumatic experiences or strange experiences by mapping different energies through myth. Meaning, there is likely a story relative to a god or a goddess out there somewhere that specifically describes what you have endured in your life. That is the concept of the guiding spirit. That is the concept of karma of the spirit, okay, versus karma of the soul, which is personal. Okay, they align, they overlap, they're symbiotic, they're synergistic, but they're different. Okay, so this is something. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. But we were talking about this concept, and I'm telling you, I've been able to map it without exception, every human being, period. And it is so precise; it can be very unnerving at how precise it can be. What do you mean? Like, why is this myth of this god or this goddess describing my life? Very interesting. You also have to understand karmic energies. You have to be able to understand karmic lessons. So you have to be able to look at things more underneath the hood of the car, right? Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you guys so much for being here. But with that being said, that is a big component of the second pathway of darkness, which is 857. 857 is what we have done to others, contributing to that same level of anxiety and discomfort, contributing to that same level of harmful, toxic, addictive behavior, okay? Thank you guys so much for being here. But the reason it's important to also understand karma of the spirit and the realm of 8 is because these things can be done on a deeply unconscious level. Deeply unconscious level. Okay, look, it looks like we're getting into this topic anyway. So that's fine. But if you guys have any numerology questions, please do not hesitate to put it down below, and I will get to it when I can. Thank you so much for being here. So, and happy Friday. I hope you're all having a great day, right? I hope you have your cocktail, your food, your popcorn, whatever it is that floats your boat this evening. Absolutely. So, that is a big component of what governs 857 because, okay, let me give you an example. And 8 is also the realm that governs karma from past lives. Okay? And what makes this tricky is because you might know someone or you yourself might go through something horrific, traumatic, karmic, dark. You might know someone or you I don't even want to speak this into existence, but let's say, God forbid, something happens to you later in life, but someone you know may be harmed in a manner where they actually lose their life. And they may be a beautiful person, a loving person, and what they endure just doesn't make sense, right? And you're asking, why them? That experience is directly correlated to past lives. The issue with that, so it's karmic and it's karmically perfectly aligned. The problem is we don't remember stuff from our past lives, most of us, right? So having to go through these sort of karmic experiences, it can seem so unfair. So you have to actually dive into the deeper spiritual truth of those experiences. But at a base level, this is the trickiness when it comes to the realm of 8, right? Because it governs so much, right? This could be karma from a past life. This can be karma from my guiding spirit. And both of those are deeply unconscious. And there's a problem there. Because how do you correct or how do you prevent something that is programmed on a deeply unconscious level and ordained to occur on a deeply unconscious level? You can't really, can you? Can you? Okay? I will give you a personal example. My best friend was unalived by her fiance in 2021. Okay. Me and several other people discovered her in her home, unalived. She had been harmed. And I'm doing this, right? I don't want to be, whatever they do, censored or flagged or whatever it is, over 50 times by her fiance because she was going to break up with him. Now, I learned from one of my spiritual mentors that this was actually the 8th time that I had endured this dynamic, in this tragedy, in this mourning, in this grief, in this loss of a beautiful woman. 8 times. When he told me that as a master numerologist, I immediately knew. I said, 8. So he's a master vibrational healer, and he was able to clear that from my energetic field and my future timelines. But 8 times. Do you see where I'm going with this? There's no way that I would have been able to prevent, to prepare for something that was programmed to manifest in my unconscious. There's no way to prevent that sort of karma. It is not a karmic cycle or a generational karma or a karmic pattern that we can actually change on a conscious level. This is why this is so important to understand. This is why this is such an important topic, okay? Thank you guys so much for being here. Welcome to the chat. Welcome. You guys are funny. But do you understand what I'm trying to say here? So when it comes to 857, you can be sitting here. So for me, I'm going to give you a personal example of my 857. Sitting here. If I would have just not let her go home that day, if I would have just known that something was wrong, that he was harmful, that he was violent, right? And I could have prevented this or this and that. If only this, if only that. What ifs? It's the what ifs, it's the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. There's a big problem when it comes to 857. Thinking that we could have done something differently to prevent this difficult experience. So we sit in guilt and we sit in regret. But these things have played out because of unconscious circumstances. Okay? Now, I want to share a personal expression, right, as it relates to her guiding spirit, because I was able to map it by using this experience. Okay? Clytemnestra. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Clytemnestra. It is a Greek myth. And in this Greek myth, there is a woman who actually unalives her betrothed. This woman is reported to have 3 children. Okay? Now, My best friend had 3 children and was unalived by her betrothed. So another important thing to understand when you're understanding the realm of 8 is the reversal of roles, karmically speaking. That is a very important karmic concept. What you once sowed, you must now reap. What you must did, you must now experience. Okay, that is how the soul can grow. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you so much for the follow, Motown. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. That is an example of karma of the spirit. Karma of the spirit. Okay, and then there will be different karmic lessons aligning with that on a soul level, right? That we as a soul need to learn, okay? Needing to learn to choose better partners, needing to learn to pay attention to the red flags, needing to learn to say no and leave before it's too late, okay? But these are very difficult things, and when it comes to 857, you can be stuck in a cycle. And I want to give you guys another example so that you can understand this topic. Thank you so much for being here. 857, another example of something you have done causing anxiety and discomfort, leading to addictive, harmful, toxic behavior towards others or toward yourself. Someone I knew that was struggling with alcohol addiction. Her 857 was the fact that she had made a mistake. She had made a mistake. And 2 animals that she loved very much lost their lives because of this mistake. Okay? Because of this mistake. Now, if you dive close enough, you can map the myth. Hello, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for the follow. You can map the myth. You can always map the myth. Tragic, taboo, timely, uncomfortable, all of these things can be mapped by way of myth. Okay? But what does that do? What does that 857 do internally, intrinsically, emotionally? If 7 is the number of addiction, and 5 is the number of discomfort, and 8 is the number of guilt, essentially, and regret, because it's karma as it relates to one's actions and reactions. How might you respond to that reeling anxiety that occurs when you think about something you've done in the past that you wish never happened? This is the cycle. This is the thought process that kept her in addiction. Do you understand? Do you understand? This is the power of 857. Have you ever endured something? Have you ever done something that you to this day think about and feel incredibly uncomfortable about when you think about it? That is 857. That's 857. Okay. Hello. Do you guys have any numerology questions? Please leave them below. Please leave them below. And yes, there's a lot of inappropriate comments today. Very interesting. Very interesting. Just here to watch me and not to actually learn about the craft. Okay, I can't control I can't control this circumstance, but I am a teacher. I'm not just someone to, yeah, see, here we go. Oh, goodness. Men will be men, right? Men will be men. Men will be men. Do you guys have any numerology questions for me, though? Any numerology questions? What an interesting day. What an interesting day it is. Oh, goodness gracious. What did you ask, Poman? What did you ask? What did you ask? Other than when we're going to get married, because the answer is never, my love. Okay? I typically prefer women over men, by the way. Any other questions? You have to be a very impressive man for me to even consider you. But you shot your shot, and hey, that takes guts, doesn't it? That takes guts. Thank you so much for being here. Any numerology questions? Any numbers you guys see repeating? Any numbers you see repeating? You know, I'm also a numerologist. I'm not a bubblegum numerologist. So that is not a numerology question, sir. Okay. That is almost, yes. Yes. 666. Okay, that's a good one. 666. I actually have an entire video on this. But let's talk about it. I'm a Cancer too, Po Man. I am. Po Man, why do you call yourself that? Are you abundantly hindered? Is that literal? Or what? 666. Donald, thank you for that. So, there are really two sides to this, okay? And people can see 666 as something evil, and it's really not. It's really not in and of itself, okay? 666, when you have an angel number and you have a digit repeated 3 times, you need to pay attention to what number is being repeated, and you also need to pay attention to how many times it's being repeated. You then are going to total the digits to get an additional resonance to be considered, okay? Which is 24, 666. No, it's 18, sorry. So, when we talk about, and that totals 9, yes. When you talk about 6, you're talking about a number that is indicative of humanity's ongoings. Humanity's ongoings. The number of humanity itself is 5, right? Human, okay? EARTH, okay? Earth, humanity, the human experience is very 5, which is the number of karma. Karma, as it relates to internal and external discomfort, restriction of thought, or circumstance. So when we talked about 8 and the karma of 8, that is very interpersonal. When you talk about the karma of 5, it's very personal, okay? But when you get into 6, we are talking about the ongoings of humanity. So we're talking about working, building a life, starting a family, building your life in a domestic manner, in a career-oriented manner. Your white picket fence, the American dream, is very 6. Okay, your day-to-day life, your personal life. It's also a number that is indicative of the persona, that presentation, that energetic presentation we put out into this world, how we express ourselves into this world at first glance. Okay, when you have it 3 times, we can be talking about, because you have 6 plus 6 is 12, plus another 6 is 18. That totals 9, okay? So you can be talking about a number, an angel number that you might use if you're wanting to pull in a new career, let's say. Because 9 is the number of endings and new beginnings. And when you have 18 or 1 and 8, we are talking about it being navigating the realm of abundance, let's say, okay? And let's say you're like, I don't like the current situation. I don't like how things are currently flowing. I want to manifest more. I want a day-to-day situation or a career situation that's more abundant, that's more beneficial to me, something that's actually what I'm trying to manifest. That would be an example of how you might use 666. Okay, to try and manifest, okay, I want to end this career situation and start another one. I want to end this domestic situation and I want to end where I'm renting and get a new home. Or I want to end the car that I'm driving and I want to get a new car, my dream car, so on and so forth. I want to end my life with this partner and I want to get a life with a better partner that's maybe better for me. Okay, that's an example of 666. Now, let's talk about thank you for the follow, Donald. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, though, when we talk about 666. It's often associated with Satan, and it's done so. I understand why, because of what I'm going to describe next, but it's done so in. It's a weird thing that I don't necessarily agree with. Okay. When we're talking about 666, you can also be talking about leaning into the use or asking for help from a spiritual being, regardless of whether it's Satan or another being. You can ask your ancestors or you can ask Satan, and it's going to be the same frequency. Do you understand? What I just described is what you're essentially asking for. When you understand any story associated with 666, what do people usually wish for? Right? What is it? I watched Bedazzled last night. I love that movie. It's a great movie. What is he asking for? He wants this woman and a life with this woman. That is 666. It's trying to manifest a new beginning as it relates to one's human experience. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Yes. So, yes. The ancestors are different frequencies. Yeah, everything's a different frequency, love. Everything. Circumstances, beings, all of it. Why you're engaging with a being is its own frequency. What you're asking for from a being is its own frequency. Where you are when you're asking is its own frequency. Yeah, absolutely. Why did Cain and Abel's dad get in his birthday suit intoxicated? Go reach us. I don't know, honey. Very interesting question. I don't know. Maybe that's because what people tend to do when they're feeling themselves. I don't know. I don't know, honey.